This is Mr. Impact Wrestling himself, Moose, and you're listening to the Irish Whip.
Hookers? Hookers and Coke?
Hookers and Coke, man.
You're the only pro wrestler I know that wants to do the shit in the morning.
Yeti, you're a f***ing moron.
Put it this way, I think Sami Callihan might as well just change his name to Invader
I
One.
want to know why. Like, he can dodge any question. Like, I'll tell anyone that. You can tell me but I'm going to ask specific questions.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
WrestlingNewsSource.com. All the rest of you yahoos are out there dilly-dillying, you little wankers. We're actually receiving real wrestling news.
This is
Brett screwed Brett.
Who are you to doubt El Dandy? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Brett screwed Brett.
Hold two! Arm bar!
Hey, get a nice shot of the brand new Mr. and Mrs. Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate your hat. I hate your t-shirts. I hate your wristbands. I hate your shoes. I hate your music. I hate the C Nation. I hate everything that you stand for.
Sodas rule.
Yeah, they do.
What is up, TIW Mafia? It's the Yeti. We're hanging out. Alex is back in the green room right now. As you can see, Wrestling News Source, we're proud for him to be a part of really what we're doing right now, and that's bringing up our next up interviews, like the people that we feel are the individuals that are paving the way. Anywhere from Finn Balor to Masha Slamovich to even Anthony Green have appeared here, and it's an honor for us to be able to promote people like this. We encourage you to support, buy their t-shirts, buy their stuff, follow them on social media, get in it, because I'm telling you right now, Alex Kane is a guy that you definitely want to be following and keeping your eye on. A little bit of back history, and this comes directly from MLW.com, their website. It is MLW.com. Alex Kane, he's the captain of, he's going to kill me if I don't say this right, the Boomaye Fight Club. He's also referred to as the Mohawk Master of the Suplex, and the mission is submission. With 100 plus suplexes in his arsenal, Alex Kane traps, tosses adversaries with ease and dominance before crushing their spines and necks, man. And I've seen some of these suplexes, dude, and he is an absolute machine. So without further ado, I would like to just take the chance to bring Alex in at Alex_Kane11. Please follow him on social media, buy his shit, and dude, what's up, man? Hope you can hear it. Hope you're all right.
Figure guns, figure guns.
Dude, so we talked a little bit about this, but I the first thing I want to tell you is, like, I love your branding. I love how you are proud of exactly who you are, and that you're not afraid to shuffle the cards, so to speak, man. So welcome to the Irish Whip. I'm proud to have you here.
Oh, thank you for having me. Thank you for the compliment. I always tell people when I'm out, when I'm on stage or in the ring, I'm just being myself, turned up to like 15. So I just try to be that in every aspect of like being a professional wrestler on social media and stuff like that. And I also try to treat people like they're people and not like their transactions or anything like that. So, I just try to be a good person.
That is the key to who we are, and that our heart and soul, as we are Irish boys, is we are all about family. And I cannot tell you how much I appreciate the fact that you make the fans first. And how much time do you spend on social media, do you think? Like,
man, I spend. I think a lot of wrestlers hate social media. Me personally, like, that's kind of like where I grew up. Like, when I was like a young Alex Kane, like in like high school, like I'm gonna get real personal here.
Do it.
Like talking, like I was way too anxious and had like way too much anxiety or whatever to actually talk to some girls in person. So I did most of my dating online or whatever. So I grew up in the online dating era or whatever, on Facebook, on what was it, Meet Me, or it was my yearbook at the time. That was my main squeeze there. So like like now as an adult, I don't mind being on social media. I'd rather be there and have that occupying my time, if I'm not at the gym or at work or wrestling. So I probably spend more time than I should on social media.
Do you? It's generational, man. I'm 47 years old,
Mhm.
right? I'm a preschool teacher. I hang out with 4 and 5-year-olds all day
Mhm.
long. Like I hear like the most honest stories you could ever hear from kids. Do you feel like your generation, and I don't mean that as like an ageist thing, but your
Mhm.
generation understands that it is a tool if you allow it to be a tool, and it can destroy you if you allow it to destroy you?
Yeah. I definitely think we understand that. And then like also, even though you like understand it, like sometimes you slip up. So like you kind of gotta stay on your p's and q's at all times when it comes to social media, because like the something can be misconstrued by somebody, and it can bring up a conversation or two about that, and that could go really really bad. So like personally, like for a while there, like I was trying to like have feuds on Twitter because I thought that would get me booked. I mean,
Trolling.
logically speaking, you think that's how it would work. Like you start a feud on Twitter or whatever, it leads to a booking of some kind. That's not how it works. Most bookers just think you're a mark at that point. So now I just post wrestling content and like TikToks that I think are funny. Like I never try to put out anything like offensive or that could offend anybody or whatever, but like cuz I mean generally speaking, like something's going to offend everybody, but something that's like wildly like offensive within society or whatever, that like being racist, being homophobic, all those things, those things aren't things that you should be sharing. If you have those thoughts and stuff, keep them to yourself and change them at some point. But like I try to keep that off of my social media. Like today I saw two TikToks. One, a chick married her stepdad. Wild.
Dude, I saw that too.
Yeah.
I could not believe that. Like the happiest day of her life was marrying her stepdad. Isn't that what?
Yes, that was insane.
Maybe I saw your TikTok, but I was like, what the
And
hell?
then the other one that I saw was a chick got pregnant by her dad. But as wild as that sounds, okay, as wild as that sounds, or whatever, it wasn't like a conscious decision. Like, oh, I'm gonna get with my dad. Her dad left her family or whatever when they were younger, and then came back, and then they met later on in life, but she didn't know that it was her father. So then she finds out after she gets pregnant, that
See,
it's
there's
her dad.
always context, dude. There's always context to
Yeah,
the story,
that's
right?
that. Yeah, there's always there's. I think that's a thing that people kind of like forget sometimes when it comes to social media, is that there's always context. So like you got to get like the whole story, to like really like make your decision.
See, so I'm gonna break down the fourth wall in podcasting. Is we use our social media as a tool, and we, like you,
Hmm.
are very conscious of what we share, how we say it, what we say, and that's because I really feel like we grow up. Depending on where we grow up, we're all influenced. We have biases that we're raised with,
Hmm.
without question. Like that
Yeah.
happens. Like when they talk about, and you can tell me to shut up, like I'm not touching that, but being a preschool teacher and knowing how you can rewire a kid's brain, I
Hmm.
firmly and honestly believe that when we talk about whether it's trauma or people that are impoverished, as they refer to, or underprivileged,
Hmm.
it is really a generational thing.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate the fact that you are conscious about that, and that there may be some 6, 7, 8-year old boy whose dad watches MLW every Tuesday, right, on Reels TV now,
Hmm.
and you're the guy that he falls in love with, because it's important. And when he's like, man, he gets older, he wants to follow on social media. Who's this guy about? What's it all about? What he's going to see is professionalism, a conscience, right?
Yeah.
But also somebody that understands that it's a tool. and I
Yeah.
can use this to promote myself, and I can use this to get myself over, and I can use this to get my brand over. And that's why, like, we go after guys like you. Like, when you messaged, I was like, yeah, man, this is amazing, because your brand and what you do and how you promote, it's professional. It's from the heart, and that's what we look for, is dudes like you that are beasts in the ring,
Hmm.
that are just straight monsters. I'm gonna be honest, man. When I started researching, I listened to some of these interviews. I didn't watch, I listened.
Hmm.
You are such a soft spoken man, but you are a beast in the
Yeah.
ring. Like, how do you do that?
I think that's a part of like being turned up. Like when for me, it's the for me the trigger is my music. So when I hear my music, then I know it's time. Let's go. It's time to turn it up. And like leave the soft spoken, like nice guy, like in the back, or if I'm doing a promo, like when I see that red light on, like, okay, it's time to put that soft spoken nice guy in the back or whatever and bring out the loud mouth. Because I've been talking junk my entire life, like like even since I was a little kid. Because like when I was growing up, I was skinny. I was a real skinny kid. Um, and like I had this confidence in myself that I didn't know where it came from. I had no reason to be this confident, but I was so confident. And like I could talk. I sometimes I could back it up. Sometimes I couldn't. I got to be honest. Sometimes I talk a big game and not be able to back it up. Other times I could. So now I just take that and bring that to wrestling. But in wrestling, I can always back it up. So
Right?
yeah.
Do, who? When did you? And this is why. So when did you realize, like, this is, I want to be a professional wrestler? You've probably been asked this 1,000 times,
Um,
but I want to know, like, when did you? Two things, like, when did you, like, think like, oh, that would be fun, and then two, what do you remember the specific day when you're like, I want to make this my job?
Um, the day that I was watching Raw with my dad. It was Jeff Hardy versus Undertaker for the undisputed title. It was a ladder match. Taker beat Jeff Hardy within an inch of his life, but that was the seeing Jeff Hardy come out. I mean, I watched wrestling several times before that. Had the action figures, played the games, all that. But that day, seeing Jeff Hardy come out there, like I was like, looked back at my dad, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be a professional wrestler. That's what I want to do with my life, and that's always been the goal. And then the day that I actually like buckled down and did it was after my sophomore year in college, and I was going to take a break. That break has been very, very long, very, very long. I need to go back, but it's been
Me
very, very
too. Don't worry, me too, man.
but I was like, I'm gonna give this professional wrestling thing a try. I don't know if I'm gonna be good at it or not, but if I don't give it a try, I'm gonna regret it for the rest of my life. And if I give it a go and it doesn't work out, then like nobody can ever say I never tried to follow my dreams. Um, so I looked up some schools. There was two in my area. There was a Robert Gibson school that was in Douglasville because I that's where I went to school in Douglasville, Georgia. And then there was Era Fox's school, which was a little bit further in Atlanta, this Fulton Industrial area or whatever. Real interesting area. So I had
Interesting is a great choice of words.
interesting is a great choice of word. Yes. So I went to the Robert Gibson school, but like there was nobody there, and he was like, I guess either him or whomever like ran like the office part of the was like really really hard to like get in touch with. So I ended up going to an A4 school show one Thursday, and it was somebody's graduation match, and all the students were around the ring. They were beating on the ring or whatever. They're getting everything hyped up. Like it really felt like a family. So like I had got to talk to some of the people afterward, and like, hey, I want to sign up. And then I came back the next week and talked, and actually got to talk to Fox. And I didn't know who Fox was before this. Like,
No
yeah,
shit.
no
No
shit,
shit.
no idea who AR Fox was.
That's awesome.
It really was because like, hold on, so. Like I look at the school and whatever, I'm like, okay, he's on Lucha Underground or whatever. I think I've seen that a few times. He has all these connections to all these other shows or whatever. That's cool. Um, so when I walk into the building and like I like, hey, I'm here to sign up, and I see Fox. Fox is one shirtless. Two, he walks up, and you know how when you see somebody important or whatever, you don't know why you think they're important, but you can just feel like the energy that they give off.
Yeah, they walk with energy. They walk with
Yeah, like
purpose.
I got goosebumps through my body. I'm like, I don't even know who this man is, but I definitely know this man is like serious, like about wrestling. And like he was the most he at the time and now he's the most humble man like ever. Like he has no business being that humble, but he's very, very humble. But he sat there, he answered all of my questions. And like from that day on, like he let me get in the ring that day. I didn't even pay yet, but he let me get in the ring that day or whatever. And we just did some rolls and stuff like that. But like getting up into the wrestling ring for the first time was crazy to me. It's like, yo, I'm really in a wrestling ring right now. Yo, this is crazy, bro. This is crazy. But like since day one, he's always been like in my corner. Like sometimes we're not always like on the same wavelength, which isn't a bad thing or whatever. Our brains are in two different places, but like he's always been in my corner. And like he was the person to tell me because I think it took me about like 6 months to debut. So he was the person that told me like, hey, you really got a chance to make it in this business, and he don't tell that to everybody. So for him to tell me that or whatever, like I didn't really believe it at the time or whatever, because I was just like, okay, he's just telling me this to blow smoke in my ass. But like kind of as time has gone on, like I've started to realize that, yo, I really got a chance. I really got like a special chance to like make an impact on his business.
That's
Sorry,
huge. No. That dude, this is yours. This is you. This is us. And the fact that you bring up AR Fox, and I understand how you don't know the man right before you go to the school. You're like, you're just looking up schools. You find it because me, when I was back at your age, like I was tape trading. We were on message boards. We were doing stupid early '90s, 2000s internet shit. Now you can just stream it wherever you want, and it's pro wrestling is a game of whose shit can you steal first.
Yeah.
But it to me, it speaks to he's got that aura, man. You can't deny it. Like you cannot deny it. And now getting the chance to see him like in a spotlight at AEW doing his thing, it's amazing. And you're right. Like AR Fox doesn't just come up to say to anybody and say, you got you got it. You got it.
Yeah.
It's willing. It's a matter of you're willing to accept it or not. And I feel like when I say like accept it, it is be teachable, be a listener, but also be a leader. And
yeah, most definitely. And ask. Oh my! I overloaded that man with so many questions. So many questions. Like I would stay after training or whatever, knowing that I needed to get home and like get stuff done and go to sleep. But I would say after training to ask this man every question I could think of because I just wanted to be great.
do you? I feel, and I sometimes I ask this question, sometimes I don't. But do you feel like are there any regrets right now? Like I should have done this or I shouldn't have that, or when you made that decision, like you're spending the time like I don't care. This guy, I'm gonna ask questions till AR tells me get the hell out of here. Like I'm busy, I gotta go. Like I got a family, I gotta eat. It sounds like you're that dedicated. Like, do you feel like that's a fault? Because I don't. Like that's
No, not at all, not at all. I tell the guys coming up at the school because I feel like they don't ask enough questions. They're just trying to figure it out on their own, and I tried to do that for a little bit of period of time where I was like, I'm just gonna figure this out. But like, if you have this wealth of knowledge in AR Fox, who's wrestled everybody on TV or whatever before he even got to TV, he wrestled everybody
right?
that's on TV or whatever. So he has this wealth of knowledge, and all of the things that he told us weren't his own opinion or whatever, weren't things that he thought we should do. These are things that people who are making millions of dollars wrestling in WWE at the time, had told him, so that he was relaying that information to us. Um, so I always try to tell these guys, like, one of the things one of the best things he told us is to just watch nothing but wrestling for like 6 months. So that's what I did. Um, and then, like, also just ask all the questions that you have. Like, no question stupid. The only stupid question is the one that wasn't asked. So, like, I think that's really what helped me. And then also, like, he would like he we would have the school show, and then, like, all the fans would leave. We'd go get food, like the wrestlers would go get food somewhere. We'd come back to the school. They had like a TV there, and we would watch the matches back one by one, and he would give us critiques right then and there.
That's
That
huge. That is huge.
that was a golden era. He doesn't really have the time to do that now. And I don't think. I mean, I know he will, like, critique people's matches, but I don't think people take advantage of it. Um, but that oh my god, that was like, when I think about it now, that was extremely valuable, because, like, you're getting his honest thoughts right here and now, or whatever. Because, like, after a match, he doesn't want to blow your high, and I think he's talked about this in an interview or two. Like, after a match, you ask him how I feel like the match or not. He'll like, "Yo, it was fire," or whatever, and that's not his honest answer most of the time, or whatever. But he doesn't want to blow your high, or whatever, if you thought the match was amazing right
Right.
then and there, because that's the worst. But after you've had time to sit on it, or whatever, and we watch it back, then he can be like, "Hey, you could do this, and this much better."
How many times after you, like, if you, whether you ask a question or not, it's like, yo, that match was fire. Like,
Hmm.
you took that day before you knew that you were going to talk to him. How many times did you replay those matches in your head and were like, I should have done this, I should have done that? And then when you went and talked to him, he's like, you heard the same thing you heard in your own voice.
Hmm. I'm gonna be honest with you. Most of the matches almost all the matches that I've had, I can't remember after that final bell rings. It's the worst. It's been like that. It's been like that since high school.
Let me
Wrestling in
tell
high
you, dude,
school.
I'm telling you right now, as a fan, that is not the worst, because that is the absolute motherfucking gold for a fan, because you are in the moment and then it's
Yeah.
over. And then you move on to the next one. That's what I think I appreciate more so much about your profession, is that you guys are writers, directors, producers, story writers, editors,
Hmm.
all of that when you get in the ring and you get to tell that story. And then you move on to the next one. The fact that you don't not necessarily reminisce, because you will. You go back and watch it. It's like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, shit, that was awesome. But like, you move on from it. You're like, what's
Yeah.
next? What's next? What's next? Dude, that to me, that's hunger, and I think it's really what attracts me to guys like you in this newer generation, is because to me, I feel like you get it. Like,
Yeah.
if somebody says, hey, there's, whether it's AEW, WDW, or whatever, MLW, if somebody that you know is in the business and you're like, hey, I'm going down, maybe you should come down, just ride along, right? Ride
Hmm.
along. And the only reason I bring this up is because starting to hear that people don't ride along anymore. People
Yeah.
don't
Not
just go
really.
along for the ride. Are you serious? So you're confirming this for me.
Oh yeah. Like, I mean, even, like, before MLW, like, yeah, I was in the car with somebody all the time. Um, but, like, now that being in MLW, like, I'm kind of in a weird spot because of how I'm presented on TV. So it's like, I also don't want to go to somewhere and wrestle for like $20 or whatever, or,
No,
like,
you're
not
above that.
have a
And
good match with
I,
somebody.
I can say that you're above that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm above that. But, like, a lot of guys, because they've been on Dark or whatever, they think that they're above that too. And I'm like, no, 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 no. You went to Dark, you got squashed or whatever. Yeah, you get the notoriety, but, like, you're not a guy. Like, they didn't sign you, they didn't offer you a contract, things like that. You're not a guy. You're still learning. You're still getting your reps. So, like, definitely hop in the car if you can hop in the car with people, and, like, try to get those reps in, because, like, a lot of people think that they're ready. I get messages every day about people trying to get into MLW, and I'm like, you messaging me is not going to get you here. And even if it did, I don't think that this is the avenue that you want to come in, because you can get signed by somebody and just be signed and just be a guy on the roster or whatever. No one really cares about you. Yes, you're collecting a check and that's cool, great, and awesome. But if you really love this business, you want to be, showing the world your art or whatever every week. And people that just get signed and just get put on the shelf, they don't really get to do that. Um, I always tell guys, get over. Like, that's the way to get seen by all of these wrestling companies, whether it be WWE, AEW, MLW, Impact, NWA, all of them, New Japan. Getting over is always the better option. It's a longer road and it's a lot harder to do sometimes, but like, if you get over and then you come and then they come to you and then they bring you in, now they have a vision for you and then they're going to push you, and like, it's going to be a way better experience than trying to just come in and just be a guy on the roster or be a guy with a contract.
Right. And I kind of want to, I try to do this because, like, right now people are listening to you and they may have experienced you. They may have never watched MLW as of yet. Like, it's one of those things. And I'm a huge Lucha Underground and MLW is kind of where I saturated after ECW. Like, once ECW went away, I kind of saturated in that because, like, it's my style, it's my jam. So if you don't mind, like, I'm gonna play a little clip so people can understand the difference between this Alex Kane and then the suplex assassin in the ring. Is that cool?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, let's do this. Or try to anyway, right?
Yeah.
Now tonight, I'm going to shove this greasy, nasty, garbage Philly cheesesteak from Tony Luke's.
Not Pat's. Tony Luke's. Not Pat's. Tony Luke's.
Down the throat of my victim tonight. Now, if one of y'all want to step up and be that victim, we can do that too. Who wants it? Who wants it? You want it? Okay. I saw.
The King quote kills me every time, dude. The King quote here kills me.
Shut your mouth. I suck. You think I suck.
Alex taking this interactive, but maybe not the way we expect.
I really wish I would have unwrapped it. I really wish I would have.
Went everywhere,
I didn't want
right?
to get it all over myself, but I wish I would have unwrapped it.
Never talk to a king like that, ho.
Yeah, after I said that, I was like, I really hope this. I hope nobody thinks this is corny. I really hope nobody thinks this is corny. I hope people love that I said this.
They do, man, because it's the game, it's the sell, it's the psychology, it's all of that behind it, and I think that's the coolest part. Is I was talking about the lens I looked through is 80s and 90s. So I'm in Montana, dude. JP's in Boston, Mass. My lens is always, it's a screen. I don't get the chance, except maybe about once every 3 years if it's local because of what I do and my priorities, to experience it live. So when I do, like, I take it all in, and that's what I appreciate about you. And what we just talked about is that you don't dwell on the past, like, you're creating your future.
Yeah.
And you, along with so many others, right, allow me to do that. You allow me to be a 10-year-old kid again. Like, you allow me. I'm not the dude picking it apart. I'm not the dude saying, oh, that, oh, this, oh, that. If you're not looking through the lens of professional wrestling as a 10-year-old kid, then you suck, man. You really suck. Because
most definitely. Most definitely. I wish everybody watched it through the lens of a kid. Because I remember, like, when I'm on TikTok and there's this whole thing called Wrestle Talk, and you have all these creators, which some of them I'm friends with and some of them are what they are. But, like, when I hear some of these people talk, I'm just like, dude, like, you're entitled to your opinion, cool, but, like, the way you be talking about some of us is, like, mad uncalled for. mad
Right.
uncalled for. You don't understand how difficult this job really is. And then like especially for a lot of like the WWE superstars, like their job is 10 times harder.
Right.
Because of the stage, the platform that they're on. So for you to sit here, not you, but for them to sit there,
In
pick,
general, I hear you.
in general, yeah, to pick every little thing apart like you've wrestled a match before. Like I don't care how long you've been watching wrestling. Watching wrestling and actually wrestling are two very different things. I see that every day at training. Anytime I'm there with new people, like you've been watching wrestling this entire time, this shit should be easy, right? It's not. It's like they're like a deer fresh out the womb, like skating, like they don't know what to do with themselves. I don't know how it works. They see it on TV and like, oh, it looks so easy, it looks so this looks so effortless, it looks so easy and effortless because these guys have been doing it for forever, and they're just really good at it. So like when people are just like picking wrestling apart, picking matches apart, saying, "Oh, this person sucks, that person sucks," like you can you can say that somebody's like from a character standpoint, I don't like this person. Like growing up as a kid, I could not stand Triple H. Triple H was backstabbing, lying, cheating, little weenie. He was just a weenie. But like Triple H in real life, yeah, I would hope to meet that man one day. I just want to see how wide he is.
Right.
And then also ask him how he built up his lats in 2000 because I'm trying to get like that. That's my dream body. But like as a character, yeah, you can say that this character sucks, but to say that somebody's ability is terrible or they can't wrestle, like you've never done that before. And us as wrestlers, we're never gonna tell a fellow wrestler, "Oh, you suck," or "Oh, you can't wrestle," or whatever, unless they're being a dickhead.
Right.
So like, but when you watch it from the lens of a kid, like how I used to watch it back in the day, then you're clued in on the characters. Now you don't like the person because their character's an a-hole or a dickhead, not because this person on social media is a dickhead or this person in real life is a dickhead. Because like that's I mean, though, yeah, that should be handled. That should be handled with however it needs to
Right.
be handled internally. But like that's not what I'm here for. I'm here for who you are on screen.
Yeah, and that's I was never that person. Like as long as we've been doing this, as long as I've been watching the art, and that's what I call it. It's just an art for me. Is I'd never want to pick somebody apart because that's their version. I mean, sometimes people have a great day. Other days, they're just off,
Hmm.
and it
And
happens.
one thing I've learned, because like I had a few days ago, no, yeah, a few days, not a few days ago, like a week or two ago, I started putting together like a character profile for myself, because people always ask me like, "What's your character? What's your character?"
Right.
Um, and I, for the longest time, was like, man, I have a terrible time like explaining myself to people. But especially as far as Alex Kane goes, I have a hard time explaining myself because I'm just being myself. Like I'm not playing a character. Like this Alex Kane didn't come out of a book, like anything like that. Like I'm just being myself. Um, but like I still like wrote it out and I sent it to people. A few of the producers at MLW, and then like some of the bookers that I've worked for. And what I realized with that is everybody sees you differently.
100%.
Everybody sees you differently.
It's
Like
it's a- it's a cultural bias, man. I'm telling everybody, it is a cultural bias that we're innately either born or raised into, and everybody sees somebody. They see a different version, right?
yeah, everybody has their own version of who you are. So like trying to come up with with this like core of a character doesn't really work because y- I see myself one way, he sees me another way, he sees me another way, he sees me another way, or whatever. So like I can see myself like this, but how I see myself only matters as far as how I perform and stuff like that. But like even if I try to communicate that core of who I think I am to you, you're still going to come to a different conclusion than I came to myself.
Right. And I mean, that's just it's our it's it, man. It's just how we're raised and what we see things and how we're influenced. And I mean, I'm real and honest. Like Eastern Montana, town of 500 people. I mean, the only black African American, whatever you want to refer to that as.
Mhm.
I didn't see somebody with that color of skin besides a Native American, which I grew up right off the reservation until I was probably 10 years old,
Mhm.
and that's when my grandparents flew me down to San Jose, and I hung out with my uncle, and we went to A's games, and we hung out in Oakland, and I was awestruck. Man, I was just one. I was exhilarated
Mhm.
because like it was culture, and
Mhm.
two, it helped me realize it's like, dude, there's a different world out here, and I'm missing it. Like I'm
Yeah.
really missing it, and I lost that a long time ago, but I got it back, and I try to relate that back to pro wrestling so much because if you're watching pro wrestling through that lens of, oh my god, he's horrible, and I can't believe he missed that spot, and
Mhm.
that psychology in that match, like if you're picking this stuff apart, then you're missing what pro wrestling is about, and that's the storytelling. Like it's this, you can have a shitty story,
Yeah,
right?
you're in a bad story, definitely.
Yeah, you can have a shitty story, but there's no shitty performance,
Yeah.
right? It's there's not. It's for though. I guess the reason I bring it up, man, is because you tell the story and I
Mhm.
buy it. Like I can lose myself in you, and that's what's key for me in what I want to be. I want to be sold. Like if you're putting somebody in a head and arm, then you better be raking that thing, and you better be
Yeah.
putting your head down, and you better keep twisting it, and you better no, don't just sit there and look up the crowd and pander. Like you gotta, if because that's where I get lost,
Yeah.
is when not only the ride-alongs, but being able to be sold. Sell me, like sell me who you are, sell me what you are, and I think you do it better than a lot of people that are even in the WWE. And that's not me just trying to kiss your ass. It's the
I
honest truth
appreciate it.
because I've been watching it a long time, and to see the reason we do these interviews is, and the reason we look is because it's such a cultural clash between what we just listened to and saw here
Mhm.
is, don't talk to the king like that, ho.
Yeah.
And then this guy, that is, you are two different people, and that's what makes art. You mentioned something when we started this, and we're huge on mental health. Like how much has the anxiety played in your life? Is that a daily thing? Like for
Uh,
me, it's daily, dude. Like I wake up every day and it's just I have ADHD,
Same.
I've got PTSD,
Same.
I've got all of that. So like if you can just speak to how healthy of an outlet, maybe chasing your dream and doing what your dream
Man,
is, to how
wrestling.
that's get you where you're at.
I tell my wife all the time, like, like everything else going on in life, like gives me anxiety. Like I'm always thinking about like how am I gonna get to this next thing or whatever, whether it be something big or something small. Um, but like with wrestling, like that's the only time that my brain is like clear. Like, yeah, I'm thinking about what's going on in the ring or whatever as far as performance goes. But like that's the only time my mind is clear and really at ease. And I'm
In the
just
moment, right? You're
I'm just
just
in
in
the
it.
moment. I'm just in the moment. I started taking ashwagandha, and that's really helped with my
Me
anxiety
too,
and my
man. Me too.
stress. Um, and then I bought like a bunch of other supplements today, but I don't think any of them have anything directly to do with anxiety. But like, I my life is pretty simple. Like I go to work, I go to the gym, which the gym used to be like an outlet, but it's not so much anymore. Now from what I'm doing now, because I started doing Olympic lifting. I started like teaching myself how to do Olympic lifting.
That's
It's been
insane, man.
fun. It's been a lot of fun. So like now I look forward to the gym now. So it is, I guess now it's kind of an outlet now because it's like trying to like learn a new skill, and like it doesn't it's like I've been at it for like 7 months now. And like just like every day you learn something new about yourself, and you watch like, thank God for TikTok and YouTube and all that other stuff, because
Right?
you can watch like people like do it or whatever, different ways to do different techniques and stuff like that. Um, but like I try to do the things that I enjoy. Sometimes you got every now and again you'll do stuff you don't enjoy, but like um every day is a battle. Every day is definitely a battle.
Dude, I feel you on that, and it's the key for me. And I think, tell me if I'm wrong, is the key for me when dealing with any anxiety associated with PTSD or anxiety associated with ADHD is I always make it a bigger issue than it really is.
Yes.
I
Yes.
always feel like I am letting people down when I'm
Mm-hmm.
not.
Yeah.
And the unrealistic expectations that I put on myself are off the chart.
But there used to be the expectations I used to put on myself used to be so bad my head would hurt. Like, but my head would hurt and my mind would be going at 1,000 miles per hour thinking about it. And I'm like, there's no amount of thinking about this that is going to fix what is going on. You're either going to have to do something or let it ride and figure it out at some other point. But like my PTSD is from childhood.
Yeah.
Like
Those are referred to as adverse childhood experiences. So we all
yeah.
experience in them. Some of us just have more than others.
Like I love my parents, I love my dad, I love my mom or whatever. But like even in them doing like the best that they could or whatever, they were still kind of shitty.
Yeah.
In that and like they don't see it as trauma or anything like that, which I think that's generational. But like knowing like with the beautiful thing about TikTok is like you get to you not so much interact with, but like you get to see so many people that have like similar lives to you or have similar upbringings to you or whatever, and like they talk about their stories, and you're like, oh shit, like I identify with that and stuff like that. So like like over time you start to realize, gosh, I mean, like my dad always made sure that we always had what we needed or whatever and stuff like that, and he would go hungry sometimes um uh to make sure that we ate. But like just some of his behaviors weren't like, when I look back on him now, I'm like, you could have not have done that or whatever, because now this has led to me as a human being, because I feel like a lot of parents don't think about like what I do to this kid now or how I treat this child now is that child is going to carry this into adulthood.
Yeah,
Um,
and I'm honestly telling you, man, that it's. Are you a parent?
I'm not. I have
Not
like
not
10
yet.
nieces and nephews. No, I'm not. I will not be. I have 10 nieces and nephews, and I'm just gonna be the cool uncle.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the day that you do become a father,
Hmm.
right?
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah. It's really hard to not carry that generational stuff down. It's
Hmm.
probably one of the most difficult tasks that I've ever experienced. Like, if you could, Marine Corps, whatever I've done in my life, being a parent is the most difficult job in the world
Yeah, because
because
there's no manual for it. Like you just gotta figure this shit out. You gotta
right,
figure it out.
and it's all oral tradition, and that oral tradition is whatever your parents decided to say to you and how they treated you is exactly how you're going to treat your kids. And it's
Hmm.
there's no fault, there's no foul. Like my parents my parents were great. Like they made sure that we had stuff. We traveled, we did sports. They made sure that we never went without. But the
Hmm.
stuff that went on behind the scenes,
Hmm.
that was generational. That was my mom and dad acting out how their parents treated them and how
Hmm.
their parents treated them, and I really wanted to break that cycle. And
That's the thing that scares me about becoming a parent, because like my parents, like they did it, they did everything like their parents used to do, and what their parents used to do. Some of this shit is just like really fucking rough, and like even as a kid, I'm like, this is so unnecessary or whatever, but nobody wants to listen to you because you're a kid and you don't know shit.
yeah, you don't know
um
nothing, right? You're not a
no, no,
human
you
being
don't
yet.
know nothing. You're not. I'm not gonna treat you like a human being, but like as an adult, I look back and I'm like, damn, bro. Like I see my nieces and nephews go through some of that stuff,
Yeah.
um, and like just to know, like this is how my brothers and sisters were raised. So like I myself, I don't want to get caught in like I guess like in that
None
in
of
that
us want to be our
arena.
father, right? None of us really want to be our father when it
Yeah,
comes to
like
the end
I
of the
mean,
day.
no, my dad, like I want to be better than my dad. Like my dad's
Period.
always said that, like be better than me. My dad's a pretty dope human being. But you know, he's also he has his own struggles. Like that's
Yep.
the thing that we forget. I think a lot of people forget is like, yeah, they're the parent or whatever. Yeah, they're gonna try to do their best, but they also have their own shit going on in their lives. So the
100%.
kid has their shit going on or whatever. Family's got the shit going on, and then this person as an individual has their own shit going on. And whether they want to whether they wanted to treat you a certain way or not or whatever, it happened. You can't take it back. Like once the bullet leaves the chamber, you can't get it back.
Done.
It's got to hit something. It's got to go into something. Um, so that's the thing that scares me about having kids, because like I don't want to be my parents. Like I don't want to inflict this trauma on this being that didn't even ask to be here. I
Yep.
brought you here because what do most parents say? I want to continue on my legacy or whatever.
Right.
Like you didn't ask to be here, but I brought you into this world or whatever. So I don't want to treat you like garbage or whatever, and then you carry that on to the childhood, and now you got all these different mental issues going on. And like the worst thing about my parents is they be trying to deny that shit like it didn't happen. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm crazy.
I was fortunate because my dad and I had a talk. There was a lot of stuff that happened afterwards, and like being able to hear him say I'm sorry and me to say I'm sorry and have a totally different relationship was a game changer. And I've had to do that same thing with my kids because I was
Mhm,
a horrible father, right?
mhm,
And it was just like you said, we all go through our shit and we don't know what our parents are going through at that point in time.
mhm.
And you know, anxiety is a motherfucker.
Yeah,
You mix that with PTSD and all the other stuff. You have to be a superhuman, and I mean that with all respect.
mhm.
Sometimes you have to be a superhuman just to put your legs on the ground and get your ass out of bed.
Superhuman or medicated, one of the two. Like I used to always wonder like how like so many people like smoke weed and stuff or eat edibles. And I'm like, once I like started to get into edibles, I was like, you know what, this makes a lot of sense. There's no how how people are raw dogging life
Yeah,
without something. Nicotine, THC, something is insane. And like for a minute there, like I wanna say about like 3 months. Like I didn't vape or anything like that. And like life is good, I guess, but like the
you're
I
just what you're like. What the hell? This is why am I
yeah,
choosing to do
why
this?
am I doing like why am I choosing to do this or whatever? And then like I started like doing like edibles and stuff. And I'm like, I'm just replacing one thing with another.
Right, right. I'm of the same venture, man. It, we can't control what happened to us. We can't, but I can definitely
No.
control and moderate
Hmm.
with assistance, whether it's CBD or THC or manufactured methamphetamines through ADHD drugs or
Hmm.
kratom or whatever you want to do. Like
Oh, what's
everybody has,
kratom? I've been seeing it at all the Indian shops, but all the
bro.
Indian gas stations.
It's a flower, right? It's
Hmm.
a plant, and it has the same properties as opioids, but you
Okay.
don't have the horrible like if you've got pain. Like I've got degenerative disc disease in my back, so I
Hmm.
have constant pain. Right? It doesn't make me cloudy. It doesn't affect my judgment. It doesn't do anything other than alleviate the pain. But the difficult is it's like THC. You've got to figure out what strain works for you because some make you tired, some amp you up,
Hmm.
some do both. So it's not outlawed. It's just an unregulated substance in the states. That Google it, man. There's a lot of positive benefits to it. It's
Hmm.
just like anything else. You got to find out what your gig is and make sure that it manages. I mean,
Yeah.
I take 4 in the morning. I take 4 in the afternoon. I'm not taking pain meds that are making me loopy or adjusting my brain chemically the way that I don't want them. I mean, I
Hmm.
try to stay all natural. And you're right, man. The THC, kratom, all of that. I don't get high. I get
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
It makes me in my mind that I'm equal to you now because perceive you as normal in this world.
Hmm.
So now I feel normal. I'm not
Yeah.
tensed up. I'm not all over the place. I'm just me.
Yeah, that's what we all need.
No kids, but I kind of want to revisit when you're watching wrestling with your dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you, it's hard for parents, right? Because when your kid says, "Hey, I'm going to be a professional wrestler," did he talk back to you? Did he say anything like, "Hey"?
He's always been supportive of me being a professional wrestler, because like one thing that he's always known about me is if I set my mind on something, I'm going to go at it full steam ahead, and nothing's going to stop me. So yeah, he could have been like, no, or whatever, like, no, don't do that or whatever, but like he wasn't. He was like, yo, look, if you're gonna do this, do it, but be the best at it. So that was cool of him.
Yeah, it says. I mean, it says a lot about who you are and his character. Like he's not going to discourage you from that. He didn't dismiss it. He's like, if you're going to do it, be the best at it.
Yeah.
And that's solid advice, right? I mean, you probably would want to give that to your kids someday, huh?
Yeah. If kids ever happen, my wife, when me and my wife got together, like she was gung ho about it. She's like, yeah, we're gonna have kids, yada yada yada. And then she starts to see like how both her best friends have kids now, and she's
Yeah,
kind
it
of sees
changes, man. It changes
how it's
everything.
changed their life and how they act or whatever. She's like, I don't know if I want to be that. I don't know if I want to be that. So
I think it comes with age, man. Once you have as much wisdom as you could probably get at that point in time. I had my first kid when I was 20. If I could do
oh
it all
wow.
over again, I'd have waited at least till I was 40 because I think that changes an individual's perception on life and how they parent. And I, it's difficult, but I'm super proud of the ability to just be the dad that I am and know that no matter what we do in life, just like AR, that aura, that's what
Mhm,
I want to present to people. Is
mhm.
just I'm here, I'm genuine, and I'm real. And I think you do that in the ring in MLW. And how much has it changed for you with like the Reels TV and every Tuesday? Not you just individually, but like the people that you're working with. I mean, you're working with those guys from up in Canada. I mean, how many other people can say that?
Man, it's I don't. I think with like a lot of like the real stuff, like we didn't like the clip that happened. I thought that was just gonna be on Fusion or whatever. Like the reels thing kind of like came out of nowhere. It was like, oh shit, we about to be on national television. Okay, all right. Um, but like we've always, I guess, as far as like a locker room goes, we've always all been on the same page or whatever. As far as the like putting on the best show possible, and like helping each other out where we can help each other out. um but like it is definitely cool to have the platform and to have people who wouldn't necessarily ever watch like a YouTube show or something like that have that chance to see us on TV. It's been really really cool.
Does it does it change your? I mean, obviously, it's probably changed. Um, I shouldn't say that. Has it changed how you approach things now, knowing that you gotta get out there and perform because it's national television, or are you the type of professional that no matter if it's a one person or 100,000, you're gonna give it all?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it all regardless. Because like MLW has always been like we've always worked everything like TV anyway. So it being on Reels now or whatever, that's just putting us on a different on a bigger platform. But like the product has always been like a TV style product anyway. So I've been prepared for this since like day one of me wrestling for MLW. Well, really, yeah, day one of
I,
wrestling for MLW.
I dropped my Hulu Live and I signed up for Sling and added
Mhm.
Reels just to make sure that I didn't miss it. It's important, man. And how important? not only that, but how important is people, because we're giving away a T-shirt. Remember, we're giving one of your T-shirts away, and when we get done
Yeah,
here,
an
when we get
Alice
done here,
Kane T-shirt.
well, we're buying two because we're gonna end up giving one away, and then I'm gonna have one and sport that around so the kids can ask me all about what that's all about, so I could let them know. But your socials, where do you hang out the most? If people want to talk to you, I know you talked a little bit about individuals reaching out to you and like MLW. Like, can you speak to those that want to work, are looking to work? Give your AR Fox speech, kind of as Alex Kane speaking to, because we have a lot of people that listen to us that are they're independent fans, and a lot of them are on that edge, like you were. Like, if you could give yourself advice back then, like how do you do it? How do you get to where you're at right now?
Find there's credible schools everywhere. I would find one closest to you, somebody that's done something in this business. And I don't mean they did something 50 years ago. I mean they've done something recently,
Right.
like 20, 30 years tops. Um, but like find a credible school that's not like, just because it's super expensive doesn't mean that it's the best school to go to. Like when I signed up for the A4, it was the best deal out there. It was like I think it was like 1,300 for 3 years. How why that was a thing I don't know. Now it's like 1,500 or 600 for a year, but at the time it was 1,300 for a year. So like find something that's affordable, that's within your budget, that's credible. um uh Watch as much wrestling as possible, not but watch it from a fan standpoint, like from that 10-year-old kid standpoint. But also watch it from like that professional standpoint, like, okay, I may be able to use this spot, or maybe, oh, I like that spot, or I like how he sold that, or I like how he executed this. um uh and like when you're in that first like couple months of wrestling training, like watch nothing else but wrestling. Wrestling is everything. Anytime there's a screen in front of you, you should be watching wrestling. Because like the more wrestling that you watch, the the easier the structure and psychology will come along. It won't be perfect, but it'll come to a lot easier. Because once you have the structure of a match like down or whatever, you can do whatever you want within that structure. um uh Ask a lot of questions. There's no stupid questions in wrestling. There are also no facts in wrestling either. Like
Right.
there are things that work well and other things that don't work well. And then sometimes those things that don't work well for everybody, but work great for somebody else. But there are no facts in wrestling. You gotta get in where you fit in. Um, what else? What else? Um, you don't you don't have to come up with a character that like is out of like a book or like a movie or something or whatever. You just got to find a persona or a character that you can get behind 100% and that you can deliver on every single time. I know if you've watched wrestling or any like independent wrestling uh interviews and stuff, like you always hear guys say the moves don't matter, and they don't. In my case, being the suplex assassin, me throwing suplexes is something I have to do or whatever. But like that's something that I can deliver on because I have a background in amateur wrestling and collegiate wrestling. So that's why I am who I am or whatever. Find something that's true to you, and rock with that. Don't be trying to be somebody else. When I started, I wasn't trying to be Taz. Honest to God, and somebody may shoot me for this, but I knew who Taz was. I didn't know about ECW Taz. So like
That's all good. It's a generation thing, man. It's a generational
um
thing.
like for me it was like mainly watching like Brock Lesnar, but I had to get away from Brock Lesnar too. And be my own thing. Like you can draw inspiration from people, but like don't be trying to be just like them. Like add your own little flair and tang to it, because like just about everything in wrestling has already been done or whatever. Things are just being brought back and like respun or whatever. So find something to respin that you don't see a lot, on your scene or whatever, or at the shows that you go to, and rock with that. But yeah, if you want to be an MLW fighter, because that's what they call them online.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
like saying superstar because I don't want to WWE everything.
Right, right.
You want to be a fighter for MLW, like just get it, like find like take all that character advice and get over it. Get over it. If you believe in what you are presenting 100%, you will get over it. No matter what, somebody will identify with what you are putting out there. You just got to commit to it.
Be you, or be somebody that you think you could be, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Well, we've reached our hour, man, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking the time. We're gonna tweet out the winner here in a little bit, once we disseminate the podcast out here.
Mhm.
But man, I can't tell you how much I respect you, how much I appreciate you, and how much I look forward to seeing where you end up, man, and what you do with the rest of your career.
I'm excited to see it too. We gonna both be along for the ride. Alex, Alex,
We're
I
gonna,
hear like, come on.
yeah, we're gonna be living in the moment. So until then, folks, follow Alex Kane. It's at Alex_Kane Kane 11. And man, as always, TIW Mafa, we will see you next Tuesday.
Yeah.